Now, normally I make a rule not to do a review for a movie which has already been released in theaters, although this has been released in a limited capacity. It's expanding over the next few weeks here. But I'll make an exception in this case because this movie is one I just had to talk about. It's definitely one of the year's best. And with that, I'm welcome to another episode of The Romancer. My goal, as always, is to enhance your movie watching experience. So Parasite, this is a little known movie, a Korean film by Korean director and writer Bong Joon-ho, who not many people know about him. Though, I mean, deep cinephiles will know who he is. I know who he is. I'm a big fan of his. Going back to as far as The Host, which is the first movie I saw from him, which was really, really good. Then he did movies like Okja, which was a Netflix original a couple years back. That was a really well done movie. And of course, Snowpiercer, starring Chris Evans, of course, Captain America himself, back in 2013, I believe, which you can see now on Netflix. A highly underrated film, which I adore. And I highly recommend you guys go watch that on Netflix. Again, Snowpiercer, starring Chris Evans, fantastic movie. So that out of the way, I was really excited to see what he could bring to the table now. And this movie, has been getting a lot of buzz, best movie consideration type buzz, a masterpiece kind of buzz, which always catches my attention, particularly such a masterclass filmmaker like he is. So, I don't want to say too much about the film in terms of specifics on what it's about, because the least you know, the better. I went under pretty clean. I hadn't seen the trailer, just heard the praise that I was getting and decided to go watch it. That being said, I can definitely say outright that this is not only his best film, but one of the best films this year, maybe the best film this year. So I'll give you a little taste about what the movie is about here. We have two families on opposite ends of the spectrum. We got a family that's very well off, and a family, of course, is living in, say, in the dumps there somewhere in Korea, in South Korea particularly. And they're trying to make ends meet now. The youngest boy here, who through a friend of his ends up getting a job to tutor the daughter of the wealthy family. And he finds a way to kind of get the rest of his family involved in working for these people. And this movie focuses on the interactions between them, the consequences that go on as they get involved. And I'll leave it at that here, because this movie, again, the least you know, the better here, because this is one of the rare movies where I was taken by surprise on numerous occasions. It starts off being one thing. It ends up being something happens, you're like, oh, okay, I didn't see that coming. And then towards the end, I was like, whoa, I did not see that coming. And I love a movie that can kind of keep you off balance like that. This movie, much like his other movies like Snowpiercer and Okja, rely heavily on these themes of social divide and financial inequality. But here he's very subtle with it. So Snowpiercer is a lot more in your face. There's a lot more subtle here, and his skill behind the camera is masterful here. It's really good. The way he shoots the film, the pacing, it's a slow burn at the beginning, but it's purposely done because there's a huge payoff by the end of the movie here, and what things that build on, and how these families interact and how these families from two ends of the spectrum kind of see and treat each other and what they think about it, which comes to a head towards the end of the movie here. And and it's not like a heavy movie. It's a dark comedy, if you will. There are some funny moments here, and I love the tone this movie strikes, because there's some humor in here. It doesn't go too far one end of the spectrum, and it gets very dark, but again, not at the other end of the spectrum. There's a happy medium between both of them, and I love what the movie has to say. And it's fascinating. And when you walk out, you really start thinking about it, and it's one that it's a good conversation starter, if you will, much like a similar movie, Joker, which obviously dealt with social class issues as well. And it's fascinating to see two movies made with similar themes on two ends of the world here. And it kind of makes you think that the issues we deal with here every day in this country, it's not just, exclusive to the United States. It happens everywhere. And the social divide is going on even in South Korea. And it's fascinating to see these two movies deal with some of the same subject matter in two completely different ways. This movie is nothing like Joker in terms of its presentation. So if you didn't like Joker or whatever, if you love Joker, don't expect something similar in this case. So just talking about the themes behind it. It's incredibly well crafted. I love the story he tells here. It keeps you on your toes. Again, I'll say it starts off, if you guys are familiar with Dirty Rotten Scoundrels, it kind of reminded me of that. But then it just takes a left turn and becomes something a lot more deeper than obviously that movie is. And I love that movie. It's a funny movie. But this one, I highly recommend this film. I know it's about 10 people who know about this movie. I think I'm here in Florida. It just got released down here in Miami. So I think it's gonna open up more markets over the next few weeks. This is one I highly recommend. It's gonna be in the Oscar contention without question. It's just a wonderfully crafted narrative here. And I love how the story unfolds throughout. And again, it's not one and those, it's not an exciting movie. It's not a big blockbuster. If you're into that, you're not into more slower burn, this movie is not for you. I get it. But if you like good filmmaking, you're a cinephile like myself, absolutely go watch this movie. This movie is fantastic. It's really, really good and took me by surprise. So in the end, should you watch this movie? Absolutely. And I know, like I said, no one knows about it. There's probably 3 people gonna watch this video. All 3 of you go out and watch this film because it's that good to other people, because it's a great cinematic experience in terms of seeing something so different and unique that we don't get to see here in the States. And it shows to the kind of level of quality some of these foreign films can bring American audiences here with themes that we can relate to, because we're going through the same things we are, although the culture differences between us and South Korea is vast. Some of the same things we deal with are the same. It's movie kind of reminds you of that. So that being said, check it out. Let me know where you guys thought. Comment below as always. And of course, if you haven't done so already, subscribe below and feed money to go to the movies and talk about it afterwards. See you guys next time.